Hello, good morning. It's Monica from Life is Art, and this is the Saturday 10 a.m. live at the Scotland Adventure online crop. This morning we are going to be creating a double point card, and we are going to be using the Beautiful Ordinary Life Designer Series paper to do that. We're going to be using the Petals of Beauty stamp set, and we're also going to be using the Sincerely Noted Mix and Match Ephemera pack, which has some fabulous sentiments on it, and these are stickers, so that makes life so much easier sometimes depending on what you're creating. So let's get started with our double point card. We're going to begin with a piece of Flirty Flamingo cardstock, although for some reason this doesn't look like Flirty Flamingo to me, but that's what it is. I've got a little catch in my throat. So this Flirty Flamingo has been cut to 8 inches by 5 1/4. And we're going to do some scoring on this, and I know you're going to say that's not the size that a normal card base is. Well, this is just a component of our card base. So this is, once again, 8 inches by 5 1/4, and we're going to score it in the center at the 4-inch mark. So just scoring it there, and I'm scoring it on the dark side of the two-tone cardstock. And then we're going to fold and crease it with the bump side to the inside. Just like that. Always start in the center and work out when you're creasing down your score line. And then we're going to have it opening to the left. Now, the very next step that we're doing is to add something on the inside of our card, and we're going to add a piece of just plain white cardstock. This is where we're going to write our message in our card, and we can jazz it up if we want. I'm going to leave it plain. That gives me maximum space to write a message, and if later on I decide I want to jazz it up a bit, I can always fussy cut a little something and stick it in there. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool to help me remove my adhesive backings. There we go. That comes in handy when you're working with things like tear and tape. And then this piece of white cardstock has been cut to 3 3/4 by 5 inches. It's going to center right inside this panel like that. And I'm going to leave the left side blank. If you're joining me live, just say hello or howdy so I know you're here. If you're watching on replay, you can drop a comment. I see Diane is here. Good morning, Diane. Now our next step is to add a little bit of decoration to the front of our little card here. And so this piece has been cut to, again, 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And it's the lovely stripy pattern from the Beautiful Ordinary Life paper pack. The back side of all the designs in that pack are black and white, and this one is actually particularly lovely because it's got these beautiful leaves, and you can ink those up, you can color them, you can fussy cut them, you can do all sorts of things with those. But we're going to be using this stripe today, so I'm just going to center that in the middle of our little card front, and then we're going to do something a little fun, a little different. I've got here a piece of the pattern paper that is 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. It's a square. I'm going to bring in my trimmer because what I want to do is I actually want to trim this from corner to corner and create 2 triangles. So I'm just going to line this up here, and I'm putting my trimming blade in the center. That way I can work from the middle out, and then I'm not running my blade into those nice crisp points, and that keeps them as nice crisp points. Good morning, Deborah. So we've got that, and then what I want to do is I actually need to do a little bit of scoring on this, and I want to score 1/2 inch in from the large flat side of my triangle. Okay, so there's the point. This is where we trim from point to point. I'm going to line it up at 1/2 inch, oops, and then move it suddenly right before I'm about to score, because you should always do that. And then we're going to score, and score gently because this is designer series paper. So just gently run it back and forth a few times. We're going to do the same thing with our other piece. We're going to line it up. I'm using this 1/2 inch line here to make sure I'm straight. And then we're going to score there at 1/2 inch. And then we can move our trimmer out of the way. We need to crease on those score lines. So just fold them over, crease them down. We can even use our bone folder to make it nice and crisp. We'll do the same thing on this one. We're folding it with the bump side to the inside. I want my lovely blue and polka dot pattern to be on the outside. So these kind of look like little weird sailor hats or boats. But what we're going to do is we're going to bring back in our little card here that we've been working on. And we are going to sort of slide this over the top of our card so that where the fold line ends, that's at the outside corners of our card. And then what we're going to do is we're going to open this up. We're going to add some adhesive there, and you know what, just bear with me. Maybe I'll even use liquid glue. I used tape on this before, but maybe we'll try it this way. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to add adhesive all the way out to the points. I'm just going to add some adhesive where it sits above that card, okay? Because it's only going to adhere the part that's actually touching the card. There we go. And we will do the same thing on the other end. It gets a little wobbly too because it's liquid glue. We have a 1/2 second to adjust it. Okay, so now this one, we're going to slip it over the end. Make sure that those intersections of the fold meet at the end of our card there, at the points. We're going to turn it over. Make sure it doesn't shift around too much. Shift it a little bit. Fix that. And then again, just adding glue where it above there. And I'm not getting right into that crease because my card's there. My card has to open, so we're not putting glue right up to that score line. Just enough to adhere it to the back of the card. There we go. Close that up for now. And then we have these little bits that are sticking over the edge. We're going to bring in our little detail scissors here. If you've noticed, these used to be called paper snips, but they have just brought them back in and they're calling them detail scissors. And I think that's possibly more accurate. We were discussing it online yesterday and they wondered if it was more of a translation thing. Might be harder to translate paper snips into other languages than it is detail scissors, right? And you know me, I love my fussy cutting, so I'm all for detail scissors. Okay, so now we've got our 2 points, and when those points open up, then we can open up our card. So now that we've got these attached, we can go ahead and add this to the standard size card base, and this is simply 1 panel. It's not folded or anything, and I have cut it out using the Pool Party, and this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my adhesive on here, like so. Take the backing off. And then we're going to line it up on our card base. So we're going to do the little pivot. We're going to check for side to side. We're going to check for up and down. Everything's looking pretty good. We'll lay it down. And that should pretty much have it centered. Now, those polka dots are not on the dark pool party, but it blends in nicely, so it kind of has a little bit of seamlessness other than the pattern changes. So now our last step for the base of our card is to add a couple different pieces here. So I've got a piece of this lovely sort of variegated wash with some geometric lines, and this has been cut to 2 3/8 by 3 7/8. I know, it's just an interesting size. And we're going to adhere it to, oops, apparently my table. We're going to adhere it to my table. We're going to adhere it to this piece of Pool Party. So again, we're bringing forward that base color. And this is 2 5/8 by 4 1/8. So it's a 1/4 inch larger. And what we're going to do is we're going to center this right on our card front. And what should happen, give or take a millimeter or two, is the points of this rectangle should line up pretty close with the angles coming off of these triangles, and it does. So what I'm going to do, we're only going to attach it to the top triangle. That might be a little hard to manage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over. Actually, I didn't need to turn it over, but we're turned over now. And I'm going to actually use my pencil, my little pencil here, just to make a little bit of a line at the top. And now I know if I put adhesive below that line on the tip of this triangle, then that should be in the right place to stick everything together. So I could use liquid glue, but I stuck it over there beside me, and now this is handier. And so we can just take our backings off like that. We can even come in with our eraser. Whenever you use a pencil and then you want to erase, make sure you have a good eraser. Don't use a crappy eraser that's going to leave weird smudges and weird things on your page. I mean, goodness, you're doing all sorts of work to make a pretty card. You don't want it to be all smoochy and weird. All right, so let's center that back up and stick it on down. And now we've got a nice little flap that opens, and we can decorate this. So that's where we're going to come in with our Sincerely Noted Mix and Match Ephemera pack. And these are all fun, different shapes. Some are a little better for a tall space, like this one here could potentially look good on there, but the color didn't quite jive. It says, "You Amaze Me," with a nice little ribbon. And so I'm going to go for this So Grateful to Have a Friend Like You, because I think that looks pretty and the colors look great. That whole pack, other than maybe the blue, looks fabulous with this collection. And if you were using the black and white side of the patterns like we have here, any color will match it, right? So we've got this So Grateful to Have a Friend Like You. Now this is a sticker, and I don't necessarily want it to stick down like a sticker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I did the other day. I'm going to grab some dimensionals, the large size ones. There we go. I'm going to peel the backing off. Now, do I need to do it the method that I'm doing? No, I could take this and just stick it on cardstock. In fact, I could double mat it. I could put a different color cardstock in behind and then just fussy cut around it, because you know I love to fussy cut. But I'm going to do this technique because I can, and maybe it works better for some of you, and that's a good reason for me to show you what I'm doing. So I'm going to add some dimensionals on here like that, and it's important to add these dimensionals now and to leave the backings on them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the little pouch. You might know it as an embossing buddy or something like that, or an anti-static pouch. It's got fine little powder in it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tap it all over the back of my sticker, and you can hear it if I'm quiet for a second. You hear how it's sticking to the sticker? Well, every time I tap it, it's going to transfer some of that dusty little powder onto there, and slowly you will start to find that it's not sticking as much, right? It's not sticking as much, and the powder is de-stickifying it. So you just go around, do all that, and now it's no longer a sticker, it's more of a die cut, which, you know, kind of, it's like a cheater thing, right? It was a sticker, which is fabulous, but because I want mine popped up, I wanted to add those dimensionals. Now we remove the backing so that our dimensionals are still sticky, and then we can go ahead and adhere that. I'm going to put it right in the center of my panel, or try, like that. I like it because it's, you know, same, tall and skinny, like that panel underneath it. And then we're going to decorate, and I said we were going to use the Petals of Beauty stamp set, which I've been using a lot. And so I actually have my little bowl here with little bits and pieces, so I was able to pull out a couple of things that I've already stamped. So I've already stamped the smaller little leaf here. Well, no, it's smaller. It's actually a bigger size leaf, but there's this cluster and then there's this. So I've stamped that using Pretty Peacock, which coordinates with this collection, and fussy cut it out. And I've done, I already had 2 of those, so we're going to use those. And then I went ahead and I stamped this little floral cluster from the same stamp set. And I used some Daffodil Delight. I wanted to say Darling Daffodil, but we know that's not right. And I'm going to grab another scrap piece of paper because I want to do it again. So here's our Daffodil Delight. It's such a delight. And then this is a 2-step stamping pattern. So we're going to stamp on my scrap paper from my drawer the large part of the floral, and then we're going to ink up and try to line up the sort of accenty bit that's just going to make it a little bit darker in some spots, even though it's the same ink, just simply because we've now got 2 layers of it. And then we can go ahead and fussy cut that out. Are there dies for this? Yep. Did I buy them? Nope. I bought my paper snips, my detail scissors instead. That's my personal preference. It doesn't always work out that way because sometimes they put lovely dies in the sets that do not cut out stamped images. They cut out something else that's fabulous. And then I am like, oh, well, now I have to buy the dies. But I pick and choose. Just like you pick and choose and decide whether you want dies or fussy cutting. We all have our preferences. Okay, so we're just going around. I'm leaving a halo of the white. I'm pivoting my paper. I'm getting these lovely flowers cut out. And then we are going to add these to our card. And I'm going to adhere my little leaves on, just flat on my card. But I might add a little dimension, and I'm just putting it near the stem there. And this one I'm going to tuck under up here, and it can hang over. That doesn't hurt anything. In fact, it looks kind of nice to break up those straight lines. And then this one, again, I'm going to stick it under down here, and that's why I kept my dimensionals more in the center here so that I could tuck things under on the sides. So we're doing alternating sides. And then let's maybe grab some mini dimensionals. We'll put a couple on this one and a couple on this one. Like so. We don't need one on every single bit of the flower. They're just tiny. They'll hold. And then this one, I think I will tuck under the edge. Maybe I'll turn it around. Tuck it under the edge like this. And then this one, maybe I'll put on top. Like that. So they're a little bit different. One's going under, one's going on. And then I think this is going to require a little bit of something to bling it up. And did I pull something out to bling it up? I did not. So again, we're rifling through the drawer, finding what we want. Nope, 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 nope. We might go for those new in colors because they're very popular in my brain right now. And they don't seem to be in the drawer. Oh, there they are. We've got our new in colors, and a bunch of these colors actually go really well with this. But I think I'm going to go with these sort of pale ones here. I think they're called Barely Blush. So let's add a little blingity bling. We'll stick one just right there like that, and then we'll add a couple down here for a little accent around our sentiments. So there we go. That is our completed double point card, and obviously we're getting that name from our two triangles. We've got our lovely ephemera sticker on there. We've got our stamped images, and then we open that up. We can see the black and white on the back, and then this opens. So it's a double open card too, and then we can write our message in there, and it's all hidden. Now this is not particularly a good stand-up card. I mean, it does stand up, but it kind of tips forward quite a bit, so you have to kind of spread it out like that. But I think it's a beautiful little card, and I think anybody would be absolutely thrilled to get that in the mail or along with a little gift or something. So there we go. That is our double point card. I hope you're inspired. If you create one like this for yourself, be sure to snap some photos of it. Hey, Judy, and pop it in the comments where I post the pictures of my card, and then we could all see and be inspired by your artwork as well. Have a wonderful rest of your morning. Be sure to check out the posted games and challenges, and we will be on at 11:30 for Chat and Craft. We'll see you then. Toodaloo. Bye.